What's good, mi gente? Welcome back. It's your boy Raul. This is How Do You Say Success in Spanglish. And today we come back to Espotlight, where we take an opportunity to shine the spotlight on different community organizations and events coming in. And today I have the 1931 Foundation, and we'll be talking about the fourth annual Hector J. Feliz Memorial Golf Outing happening next month. So let me welcome you, the 1931 Foundation. How's it going, guys?
Good
Great.
morning. Hi
Good
there.
morning, everybody.
Hey.
Morning.
So thank you guys for taking the time to meet today and talk about your event. So if you guys want to, if we want to start off introducing yourselves, we'll start off with, I guess, top left, Carlos.
Hi, Carlos Matas. I'm the president of the 1931 Foundation.
I'm Carmen Barroso, and I'm Hector Feliz's wife.
Good morning, everybody. Alex Canals, and I'm a board member of the 1931.
Hi, good morning. I'm Joe Encarnacion, and I'm a board member on this great team.
Buenos dias, Raul de la Rosa, and also a member of the 1931 Foundation.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I know this isn't our first time meeting. Last year we got together again for another spotlight to talk about last year's Memorial Golf outing. And so, just to kind of give people a reminder of what you guys are doing, Joe, can you tell me, what is the Hector J. Feliz Memorial Golf outing?
Um, the Hector J. Feliz golf outing, golf event. We first had it titled as golf tournament, and that just sounded way too intimidating. It's an event to honor a very special man, a special brother, a friend, a husband, a father, doing what he loved to do in a way that he loved to do it. We put together an event. This is our fourth year, and it's always within mind of having an event that Hector would say, "Damn, that was good. That was fun." And we make it so that there's laughter and community and love and fun. So it's not about golf because I can't lie. Hector wasn't a great golfer. I'll just put that out there. Um, and nor am I, but we had the best laughs, and that was what it was always about. So that's what we tried to emulate in this event.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not a golfer either, so I can.
So welcome.
Yeah. So I guess Carlos, can you tell me a little bit? What is this event benefiting?
Yeah, so we try to take all the proceeds from the event for two causes. One is the Lustgarten Foundation for Pancreatic Research, trying to keep researching and finding a cure, as well as really providing support resources for families affected by someone with cancer, as well as the 1931 Foundation's Omega Fund, which it was established to support families of brothers that just left us too soon, and be able to provide resources or um, educational resources to kids.
Nice, awesome. Well, obviously it's called the Hector J. Feliz Memorial Fund. So there's the person of honor is Hector J. Feliz. So Carmen, do you want to tell me a little bit like who was Hector J. Feliz?
Well, Hector Feliz was an amazing father, to our two sons, Lucas and Oliver. He was their soccer coach. He was obviously an amazing golfer, great husband, my best friend to many, including many on this call. And he was a great son, but he was also the person that if anyone needed anything, he was the guy you called. Whether it was a neighbor, whether it was a friend, whether it was a relative, they were going to call him day or night, get him out of bed at 2 a.m. because their basement flooded and he wasn't even going to think about it. He was going to throw on a jacket and run on over, and he was going to be there all night getting the water out of their basement. That was who he was. And I mean, and he's also the person that when you went golfing or you did anything with him, whether it was just a dumb errand, you were going to be laughing hard the whole time, all day and all night. That's why he's so deeply missed. And that's one of the reasons why these golf outings are such a perfect way to remember him, because you're out there in this beautiful nature and golf course and you're just thinking about what he loved to do. And hopefully you're laughing and having a great time with the people you love most.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, it takes a lot. It's one thing to have all your friends remember you and talk about the good times, but it takes a lot for, a group, an organization, and especially people who loved you to, use your name in an event, to benefit and do good. So obviously he's left a major impact not only to you, but, to a lot of other people. So, what was the legacy that you think that Hector left, and how does this event help to continue his legacy? Carmen.
Well, I mean, for us, it was his legacy of his family, obviously, and his friendship, and to love those around him completely in a way that they felt loved.
Nice, awesome. And what about you, Raul? Is same answer, same question to you. What is the legacy that you think that Hector left, and how does this event help continue his legacy?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a strong legacy of helping your neighbors, helping your friends. Make sure you're just present and there. Hector embodied that, and I think a lot of us that knew him continue that same mindset, but also making sure that we're passing on the message to others. I think it's incredible that he did that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, so I'm hearing conflicting information. So one person said he wasn't a very good golfer. Someone told me he's a great golfer. Obviously, he loved golfing. Latinos and golfing don't always go hand in hand. You know what I mean? So, Joe, tell me a little bit. How did you guys decide a golf event?
It was a very, very easy decision because it was an extension of who he was. I was fortunate, blessed, honored to have spent time with Hector on the golf course. And the beauty of it, with regards to the laughter and the struggling golf play, it was therapeutic. It was a time where we were, as Carmen mentioned, you're out in nature, you're removed from life for a period of time, and it's just an open door to talk about whatever and listen to music that maybe, my wife would say, "Can you turn that down?" And it was just our time, and we'd have great laughter, and we talk about before we finished around. We're already talking about the next time that our wives would be so gracious to allow us to go back out again. And it was beautiful, and the more people we could bring into this cult, the better. And we certainly live the code of, if you can't laugh at yourself, it's laugh at other people, man. So it was an easy decision to have golf be this event that would honor such a person, such a man. And it was Javier who said, we keep talking about getting together. Javier Laura, who's been leading us through these 4 years of this event, and he said, why don't we, you know, do something like this? And it was just such an easy thing. It really was, in regards to the idea. And it was like, of course, I know without a shadow of a doubt that Hector would be all in on putting something together like this for anybody, over and over and over. I did not realize that he was available to help with flooding basements. I wish I knew that, but I miss him terribly, and I love this event that just, it just has us to embrace him in a very special way.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, and I can imagine us, throwing a little extra sazon to that golf course for the day, a little bit louder. Does it bring back memories of old times of hanging out with Hector and golfing with him and stuff like that as well?
100%. We would, have a kind of we had a certain soundtrack on the course, right? You didn't know who you were pairing up with, and maybe we're playing a little jazz on the speaker, maybe we're playing at a conservative level. And depending on who the group was, by the time we got to hole two, we're, hey, put this merengue on, put this salsa on, put this old school hip hop on. And it became a very different thing. And if you're in, great. And there were people who were like, wow, this is awesome. You guys were awesome. But it was just a therapeutic ride down a park looking for a stupid ball. That was pretty much it. If you ask Hector, he was a great golfer. Um, he did have nice shoes and stuff like that, but the golf part was just something we were working on.
Nice, nice, awesome. Well, obviously, it's the 1931 Foundation that's organizing this event, and it looks like you guys are very active and do a lot of stuff. So, Carlos, can you tell me a little more about what the 1931 Foundation does and what it is?
Yeah, so the 1931 Foundation is Phi Iota Alpha Fraternity's foundation arm. We were established to extend as an extension of the fraternity to really focus on encouraging and promoting Latino leadership, continuing to support organizations that promote and continue kind of a Latino culture and heritage, and be able to be an additional force in supporting organizations that are helping our community. And so the Hector golf outing has become one of like our cornerstone events, where we can raise a lot of funds, again, to focus on pancreatic research in this case, and the Omega Fund, which benefits the fraternity membership. In addition to that, we raise other funds for scholarships for undergraduates, whether it's to promote leadership, those brothers that are in leadership positions or are maybe focusing on STEM career. We partner with the fraternity and the undergraduates throughout the year to raise other funds for other community organizations. So again, like this outing is a big deal for us in terms of the amount of money we raise and the impact we can have, and in this case with pancreatic research.
Nice. And so, I know we talked about pancreatic research. Can you tell me a little bit about this organization, the Lustgarten, and why pancreatic research was so important for you guys?
Well, one, just because Hector passed away because he was impacted by pancreatic cancer, and so this is kind of another way to continue sort of his legacy a little bit and be able to help others that may be going through this, because they do spend some money on research, but they also really have a focus on supporting families, and supporting everyone through the process. It's a tough disease, it's tough cancer. With a high mortality rate, so they really do focus on supporting, the friends and family that are helping someone going through this, and so that was important to us.
Raul, if you don't mind me adding to that, the Lustgarten Foundation, that's been around since 1998, is the largest provider of cancer research and specifically focused on pancreatic cancer. And $287 million is what they've been able to fund since 1998. The survival rate for pancreatic cancer research after 5 years is only 13%. So they're such a really good foundation for us to support.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it seems like they do great work, and any cancer is rough. Pancreatic cancer, I know, is really rough as well. So thank you guys for taking the time to do this event and helping out like that, and obviously continuing the legacy of Hector. So but obviously this is an event. So Alex, can you tell me a little bit? What are some of the details about this event?
Sure, sure. And I think the first thing, as many of my team members here has stated, this is open to everybody. You can be an avid golfer, you can be a full first-time golfer, and it's an opportunity for people to come together and just have fun, as Raul, Carmen, and Joe said. It's a time for us to just laugh and bring up great memories, and lose a lot of golf balls. That's important. You're going to lose a lot of golf balls, so let's understand that, and it's okay. Many will have extra golf balls in their pockets, so it's all good. But this event will be held on Wednesday, June, excuse me, Wednesday, June 18th, at the Pelham and Split Rock Golf Course in the Bronx. So yes, home of the Yankees. I will give you that. Actually, one of the things that's really good is that PGA.com has named this golf course one of the best golf courses in New York. So it is a great opportunity. The lawns are beautiful. The event's beautiful. We start promptly at 7 a.m. with a really nice breakfast. And if some of you have gone to some of the other events that we've held, this location does do a very nice job with breakfast. We go from 7 to 8 breakfast with the idea that we want everybody ready to get started by 8 a.m. for tee off. It will be explained. It is, and correct me for those of you, because I'm definitely not a golfer. They use a scramble format. I'm pretty sure that some of my colleagues on this that are, super golfers like Joseph can explain that a little bit more. Um, but we'll go from 8 to 1 p.m., 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then at 1 p.m., from 1 to about 3:30, we have a great lunch. And we encourage everybody to participate with that lunch or attend that lunch. And in addition, if you're not a golfer or you can't take the morning off, maybe you may just want to come in and buy a ticket for the lunch. We provide a full buffet for those of you that do partake in a little bit of drinking. There is some beer and wine available, for those of you who are not going back to the office. And for those of you that are going back to the office, well, you go back a little happier. I will also say that the next day, some of us may be off because it's Juneteenth Day. New York State does acknowledge that as a holiday. So some of us may be off, especially anybody in education. So you can take advantage of having the next day off. I would also say that during that lunch, and I know my colleagues will be speaking about it, there's going to be a live and silent auction with some incredible prizes, and I will let Joe and Carlos and Raul talk a little bit more about that. But again, the event is scheduled for June 18th, Wednesday, 7 a.m. We'd love to have everybody there for a nice cafe con leche and some noshing before we get on the golf course. There'll be some surprises along the golf course. Anybody that stops at my hole will have a nice, pleasant surprise. I'm not going to give the details out. You'll have to just wait and see. Uh, you have to be 21 and over. I will tell you that. And I am checking IDs. Carmen, I am checking IDs. But I will. But again, I look forward to seeing so many of us there. It's an opportunity to laugh, joke, have fun, and again, lose a lot of golf balls.
Nice, awesome. So I know you said we talked a little bit about prizes, and so is that who I forgot who you said, but who's going to talk about prizes? I want to make sure I know who's got the dirt on the prizes. So
Well, there's going to be a lot of prizes. I'm going to let some of the other, but there are some cash prizes in terms of nearest ball to the pin. There is also going to be a hole in one. God, if I run that, I take a cut of that. Whoever hits that hole in one. There's a couple of trips also that are up for the on the golf course in terms of making the hole, longest drive. Then there's a prize also for the best group score. And I will again let either Joe, Carlos, or Raul take over and also talk a little bit more about the different prizes. Joe should definitely talk about the grimace and the prize for best dress, and I'll let that go.
So last year we kicked off. Well, the year 3 years ago, we had a group show up, and they went all out in how they dressed, which would let me to believe these guys don't play golf well because they're really trying to hide this. And they were dressed so cool. It was so fun. As soon as they came out of the parking lot, it was just awesome. So last year we kicked off like, well, why don't we have the swag award? And we had an award that was voted by Oliver and Lucas, and they gave out, I think, maybe 3 or 4 awards to the best dressed and that was just a great laugh. And they got a goofy little trophy. I happen to have that goofy trophy. Um, right, I see it right now, and have it with pride. And it was just a fun thing to do. It was a very much Hector thing to do. So that's how that kicked off.
And do you guys have a prize for like the most embarrassing moment of the day? Because I'm probably gonna win something like that.
Well, there's not enough trophies for that kind of thing. It is. Look, if it's an embarrassing moment, and it's seen and highlighted, that will be
you get a free
repeated
lunch.
over and over. So we're out there looking for that. That's what this team is really about, just looking for embarrassing moments.
Nice.
But I say embarrassing moments, and I hope that doesn't intimidate anyone. It is all in fun. It is absolutely all in fun. It is come out and have a good time. We were talking about dress code and the swag stuff. It is come at whatever the bare minimum the golf course says you have to. At least cover that. If you want to go beyond that, go for it. But the most important thing is just to come have a good time. If you don't know golf, come learn golf. Hector and I always knew and understood that it was an important place for especially Latinos to show up in, because we're not represented in those spaces. And even though we're talking about a lot of fun, there are a lot of times where golf is utilized as professional advancement and networking. And a lot of times our people are just off to the side just because, one, they're intimidated by it, and feel I don't belong. And this is also an opportunity to say you absolutely belong. And this is a silly game for you as it is for everyone else. And don't take it too serious. And if you have an opportunity to network, to go for it. And if this could help shave off some of that intimidation, use it for that as well. But that's what we knew and understood. And that was also our way to invite folks, Hector and I, when we were out recruiting folks for our cult.
I would also just add that it's very, very important that our women show up, our children show up. So for those of you that are planning on coming, if you want to bring your children, they can also join and golf as well and learn. And importantly, our women. Let them know that this is an area for them that they, especially Latino women, that need to break into this arena. And this is a great way of just starting it and having fun with it. I know people that started 4 years ago and then became very avid and enjoy. They may not be good, but they're there. They show up a couple times a year, and they do their thing and they have fun with it. So this is a great starting point for a lot of people. So I encourage all. It's reasonable. It's a fundraiser. It's a good cause. It's fun. It's happiness. That's what we want. So I encourage all to come and participate.
It really is open to everybody. And the format we picked, the scramble format, just makes it so much easy. Everybody hits the ball once. You pick the best ball that lying there wherever it is, and then everybody drops there and hits their ball again. So it's not your score. It's a group event, group support. So it does not matter what skill level you are, because you could all have shots at this and just keep the ball moving forward is really the goal, and get through 18 of those things.
That's great. I mean, it'll make me look better when I don't have to worry about how bad I'm hitting that ball. So that's exciting. Joe, you did mention that there was a minimum dress code that the club
Yes.
requires as well. And like also to follow up on that as well, like does that mean we also need to bring clubs?
There are clubs available for rent, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just connecting with the club ahead of time to ensure that can take place. I would absolutely hate for someone not to come because they don't have clubs, and if someone's watching this and that's where they find themselves, I would suggest to reach out, and we could figure something out for that particular person or people. The minimum that I was referring to, golf courses tend to require that you have a collared shirt. at a bare minimum. Golf attire beyond that is pretty flexible, especially they are, just golf shorts. Um, but then if you want to, kick in the swag, then that's also available.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, I mean, that's good to know. Good information to get there. Raul, do you want to kind of? I know we touched upon it a little bit, but it sounds like there's some new and exciting things planned for this year. I think Alex mentioned about an auction. Do you want to talk a little about that, Raul?
Absolutely. We have a couple of live auctions this year that we're having. It's actually the most exciting thing that I'm looking forward to because one of the things that we have this year as an option is you can win tickets to go to Yankee Stadium, attend the suite, and spend some time with Bernie Williams. I think our attendees are going to love that, especially those Yankee fans out there. So that should be very exciting. And then there are a whole bunch of different prizes. If you're an Angels fan, we might have a Mike Trout jersey. If you're a soccer fan, we might have a Messi soccer ball. So a lot of different fun things that we haven't had in the past. I think it's taken us 4 years to get these great auctions. So anyone who attends, you're going to have a great time participating in some of these auctions. And to that point, I mean, attending is very simple. It's an $800 cost for a foursome. You don't have to be in a foursome if that's the case. If you're a single person, you want to come over, that cost is $225. So many different options there for you to participate. And to add on to that, we have a lot of different sponsorship packages that if you want to give a little more, if you want to support this event for many different reasons, you have that opportunity.
Nice, and to add to the exciting events as well, I'll be there as well. I've talked with Javier about setting up a live webcast throughout the day. So I don't know where you guys are putting me, but I'll be around bugging people, having games, doing some swag at people. So we'll have a good time as well with my silliness over there. So yeah, it'll be a great time. So looking forward to that. So obviously this is exciting. This is so much stuff to do. A lot of information. I'm sure nobody's taking notes while listening to this. So, Carlos, is there any place where people can go get more information and to register for this event?
So you go online to 1931foundation.org/Hector Golf. And there you can see all the information for the day's event. You can register, buy your tickets, or do a sponsorship. And if you can't make it, you can still donate. Any amount is great. We'll go to a good cause. And if you can't make it, the other ask would be, hey, spread the word. The more you share this with others, again, it's open to everyone. The more golfers and folks that are there, it just makes it an even better event.
And if someone can't come or just does not like golf or being surrounded by Yankee fans, like if that's their if that's their limit, is there anything they can do to still support?
You can, again, post, send the link to others. Again, 1931foundation.org/Hector Golf to help get more supporters out there, or just donate.
And like Carlos said, there's a lot of ways of participating, of course, in person, being a golfer, coming to the lunch, or sponsoring one of the events, or just even giving a donation, $25 donation. If you think about it, if 100 people give $25, that's $2,500 right there. We just raised there very easily. So I would say that, any which way possible, every dollar counts and every dollar will be used the right way. So I would encourage everybody that's listening that if you are not able to attend, please, please, please donate any which way you can. Thank you.
If I could add to that, we've had donations of items that we also have added to the raffle, which was, really great. I know last year someone donated a new golf bag that they had, and they said, "Look, this is an extra bag. Can I donate it?" And it was raffled off. There was another time where someone brought in a picture of baseball players, and that was raffled off, and the winner was just so excited about receiving that. So even items for the raffle is also a great way to help the event as well.
Awesome. And is there an option of just like showing up for lunch? Can I just come and enjoy lunch with you guys?
Absolutely, absolutely, and the lunch will start at 1 o'clock. There is a $60 ticket for lunch, and like I said, it's a full buffet, beautiful grounds. Um, if you do partake in the little bit of alcohol, there will be some beer and wine served. And then the auction is during that time. So it's going to be a really fun time because there's a lot of things going on. The auction goes on during lunchtime. The prizes are given out during lunchtime, an opportunity to network and socialize. So all in all, and that bit will be from about 1 o'clock in the afternoon till about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's not a rush. Maybe people can work a half a day in the morning and then come over and spend the rest of the afternoon with us, and have a great lunch, good be with great people and share some great laughs.
So Carmen, just to kind of come back to you, why should people support this event?
Well, people should support the event because the reality is that everyone at some point in their life will be touched by cancer. Hopefully, whoever in their lives is touched by cancer does survive. But sadly, with pancreatic cancer, as was mentioned by Raul, there's a very, very low survival rate. And by the time the first symptoms appear, it's already too late. If we could change that, if we could save just one person and save one family from going through what it's like to lose someone to pancreatic cancer, then I think it's worth it.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's a great cause to do. Does anybody else want to add any addition to why supporting this event is great? Before we move on, cool, Carmen, you hit it on the nail. So, last question for me at least is, we'll go back to Carmen for this one as well. What's one thing about Hector you want people to remember and associate this event with?
A great time. Whenever you're with Hector, if you knew you were going to see him that day, you knew you were going to have a great time, no matter what the circumstances was, whether it was work, whether it was an errand, you knew that day was a good time. This event is a good time to be surrounded by those that you enjoy being with, especially if people start bringing out their wives and their kids. It's going to become even more and more of a family event, or even if closest friends, because sometimes your closest friends are your family, as I think everyone in this call can attest to. So I think that if there's one thing to associate with this event is a really good time, maybe the best time of your year.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. And that one thing is that don't be intimidated by coming out to golf. First time I ever stepped out on a golf course was because Hector dragged me. I was so intimidated. It just felt like such a big thing. And he kept saying, like, you're never going to learn unless you go out there and have fun and try it. And so I did. And I'm still not good to the point that Joe made earlier, although there are a couple of great golfers as well. But don't be intimidated by trying out golf. Come out, have a great time, because that's exactly what Hector would want you to do.
All right.
And I think if you come out and you're learning it, ask questions. I mean, that's ask questions, and whatever that could make you feel a little more comfortable about the sport, beyond it being a sport. Some people look at it as too tight wound. It's not that, and it doesn't have to be that at all. And a lot of times we do that ourselves, right? So I encourage folks to come out, ask questions, and make the mistakes, and it's okay. It really is. We try to create this kind of safe feel of just give it a shot. Um, I have to say that I have a couple neighbors that have participated in this event who've never met Hector ever. But each time they've gone, the, their response to me is, I feel like I've gotten to know him more and more, as it's because of the continuity of the feeling of the event. And they, I have one particular neighbor who's like, this guy was a great guy, like, so that's the feeling that you come out with.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time today to talk with me. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this event. I know last year I didn't get to go, but this year I'm looking forward to being there, and it sounds like it's going to be really exciting. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you
Let's
very
go,
much for your
Nick.
Thanks,
time.
Raul.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you there.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you once again to my guests for joining me, and obviously for everybody listening in. Thank you so much, and hopefully you'll join me again next time as we shine that spotlight on another event.